Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Mompetitor by Mimi Narte. What's awesome about this channel is it follows my life and I feel like it's all about modern motherhood. I talk about entrepreneurship, I talk about family, I talk about fashion, all different kinds of things. But the name Mompetitor by Mimi Narte really captures, I think, the things that I'm most passionate about, which are motherhood and competition. I have two amazing children that I just love to pieces, and much of my life revolves around the excitement and the entertainment of raising them. And I also was a professional soccer player for many years, and now I coach both of my children in soccer. My daughter's in a club soccer team and I co-coach her team. So I'm definitely super mom-petitive year-round, but I think it all kind of comes to a peak for me during the State Cup soccer season, which is at the beginning of the year every year. As I said, I coach my daughter's club soccer team, and it is just such a fun and exciting time, and it just brings up so many great memories from when I was a player, and it's just so beautiful to be able to be making these memories now with my daughter and with her teammates who are also like my daughters. There's so many interesting elements to being a parent coach, and if you haven't seen my video on the art of coaching your own child, I suggest that you check it out. I have so many tips about navigating that space between being a parent and being a coach in the interest of your child. It's definitely a dance, but I think some of the most challenging times are when life happens and really you're trying to manage the parent side of things and you're really trying to mitigate how much it's going to impact the coaching side of things. So for this second week of our State Cup tournament, I think that was the major theme. It was just one thing after another for me that I had to deal with and manage and set aside in some ways in the interest of the team. So I'm really excited to be finally coming back and finishing this video series and filling in the gaps for some of the stories and things that I think even my own team may not be aware of what was going on kind of behind the scenes for the second week of the State Cup tournament. Things kind of started off, already in an adventurous direction because Kofi had a work trip to Las Vegas. So as we were leaving the house, he was also basically leaving the house, but going in a different direction. And so for the weekend, when we were traveling down to Temecula, I was going to have to be solo parenting while he was away on business, but also managing the coaching in this single elimination round of the State Cup tournament. Okay, everybody, welcome back to my channel. We are on our way down to Temecula for our second weekend of the State Cup soccer tournament. We made it out of pool play in first place, so now we're going into the single elimination round. You can probably hear Cookie Monster navigating on my ways right now. I'm driving because Kofi actually has a work trip to Las Vegas, so he's not going to be able to make it. It's killing him because Kofi actually is, like me, really competitive and really engaged. We have such a great group of parents and girls and a very competitive team. So it's fun for all of us, sincerely, genuinely fun for all of us to go down and watch the games. But Laya's just telling me she's ready in the back. You ready, Laya?
Yeah.
She's ready. We're gonna do this. From what I understand, probably our stiffest competition will be tomorrow morning. So we're gonna play, our game today kicks off at 11:10. We'll stay overnight just to make it less complicated with the driving back and forth, especially with Kofi out of town. But usually for these things, it's nice to just take the night, and Temecula is a nice place to stay anyway. So we are going to stay over, and then our game tomorrow morning is at 8 a.m., which is kind of tough because I'm definitely not a morning person. So pray for me, you guys. We just gotta get up, get everybody together. We might actually come back and check out because I think that will remove a layer of complication after the game. And then if we win in the morning, we'll play again in the afternoon on Sunday. But we're gonna win. We're gonna do this. So we will check back in with you guys in a little bit.
United on three! 1, 2, 3, United!
All right, so we won our first game today 2-1. It was a really tough fought victory. It was kind of an ugly game. We didn't play our best game, but we got it done. A win's a win. That's all that matters. A little bit of drama because we missed a penalty kick and we had a penalty kick scored on us. But now we're about to hang out at the hotel, have a good time with our team for dinner this evening, and we will get up and be back at it bright and early on the field by about 7:15 a.m. for an 8 a.m. game tomorrow. So we are marching on United. How you feeling, Maya?
Good.
Good? What were your thoughts on the game? Oh, well, I guess we'll never know. So as can be expected in elimination play, it was a tough fought game, that first game in the morning, and there was quite a bit of drama because we had two penalty kick situations. We had a penalty kick that was in our favor and we actually missed the penalty kick. But you know, as a coach, it's just a lot of work to make sure that we get everybody back in together on the same page psychologically, and we can continue to move forward for that, because it's definitely a moment where there's like an emotional fork in the road in the game when you have a penalty kick that's missed. At the same time, we had a penalty kick scored on us, which is also another emotional fork. And it was a tough situation because it was actually my own child who was called for the penalty. You know, it was a ball to hand situation, but it was in the box, so it was a fair call. I'm definitely, you know, feeling the pain for her, but just hoping to help her stay steady emotionally and help her see the truth of the situation, that she had been playing well overall and these things happen. So, you know, for the team in general, it's my role as the coach to help them understand that these things can and will happen, but it's about us having a consistency of play at a high level so that we can still prevail. And as we move along, the competition gets stiffer and stiffer and stiffer, and the drama builds. So what's funny is after that first game, you know, we were feeling really good. I felt like I had managed things well. Some of the parents, one parent in particular, had helped me out watching Lincoln at the field, and I was ready to just get into the room, take a load off, and just kind of rest and recuperate before our next set of games the next day. But unbelievably, I actually left my ID and credit card at home. So I didn't even realize I had driven all the way to Temecula with no driver's license, no credit card. Luckily, I did have some cash on me in a random pouch, but I had, I think, taken those, my primary credit card, debit card, and my ID and put them in another bag for an evening out that I had had with Kofi, so I didn't have any of that. So, of course, you need those things to check into a hotel. It was a fiasco. It was a fiasco. Not the first time. I can't say that I'm totally surprised with myself. I would love to be like, this is so unlike me, but you know what? Motherhood is real. So I had to send a message over the Team Snap, which is the app that our team uses, and see if anybody would be willing to come to my hotel room and basically register me into the hotel, check me in to the hotel with the kids. So we were very fortunate that one of the dads on the team, super great dad, was really kind and responsive, and he came and helped us check in. But, you know, I was not feeling like I was on top of my mom game, to say the least, and the kids were tired and we were just hanging around the lobby waiting, and you know, the mom guilt. So we finally check into this little hotel, and it's nothing really grand. It's got kind of like Palm Springs vibes because the tournament's going on there during that week in Temecula, and they had other big events going on during that weekend in Temecula. There wasn't a lot of space in the hotel rooms, and you kind of have to book at the last minute because you don't know whether or not you're going down the next weekend until you get the results of your game the weekend before. So this is not the kind of thing that we could book out in advance very easily. So, you know, it was a very decent place, but you know, not a Four Seasons or Ritz-Carlton kind of thing. But just, like I said, Palm Spring vibes. Brightly colored doors. We had a little pool. We were on the first floor. But I think that part of my challenge was I was just kind of shaken and a little bit annoyed with myself and a little bit stressed from the competition and, looking to what was going to happen the next day. But let me tell you, that night I had a crazy nightmare. Crazy nightmare. And I don't have bad dreams often. I don't really have vivid dreams that often, but this was a doozy. I literally woke up in a full sweat. I reached out to call my parents because it was that serious. I wanted to just pray, and I got them on the phone, and it was funny because I was trying to keep my voice down and tell them a little bit about what was happening and how I was feeling. And my dad's like, you know what, it's okay to speak up, it's okay. And I was like, I don't want to wake up the kids, Li's got the game tomorrow. And my dad was like, it's okay if they wake up. And I just want to kind of pause here and shout out my dad, because I think it's interesting how as parents, and in particular as mothers, we are so sacrificial. And so, even in a moment where I was having kind of this intense emotional response to this really terrible dream that I was having, I was still trying to suppress maybe the processing that I needed so that I could get myself kind of a little bit more stable emotionally. And I was just really grateful to my dad in that moment for allowing me the freedom to say, you know what, it's okay to kind of put your needs as priority in this moment. And even if your kids wake up, you can get them back to sleep, but let's just help you process this right now. So that was fantastic. And I had called them because I was trying not to disturb Kofi because he's in the middle of his work trip. So there was that. But I did end up texting him, and he did end up getting in touch with me a little later on in the evening too. So all of this kind of went on through the evening. It was kind of crazy times for me. It was over the top. The dream part was over the top. And I chalk it up, I guess, to the stress and anxiety that I had around the not having the card, and the stress and anxiety that I had, just around wanting the team to perform well, and kind of, I think, being on my own a bit, in a place that's not familiar with the kids. I don't know. There was, so many different reasons why this might have played out the way that it did. It could have been the dinner, the Mexican food that I had for dinner. Who knows? But the challenge was our game started at 8 a.m. the very next morning. So having such a disrupted sleep, then I had to turn it around for a really intense game the next morning that went to overtime and penalty kicks. So penalty kicks, always dramatic, but let me add a little bit more context that's really going to paint the picture and set the scene. Mind you, I already am running on very little sleep. We had so many injuries this season. Literally, it felt like our team was dropping like flies from the beginning of the season all the way through the end. But even as we approached the state cup, we had 2 goalies that were out. One of our goalies had a table fall on her foot at school, and she basically missed the bulk of the season. And then we had the goalie who had stepped in to her place, who had done an exceptional job, tear her calf. And so we did not have a regular goalie, a trained goalie for the state cup tournament to play. So this was wild. We had a couple of girls that were able to step up. They are agile and athletic, and they were able to step up. But it kind of got to this moment where we know penalties are approaching, and so I just have to go with one of our players who I feel like is agile, who is one of our actually offensive players, in goal. Judgment call that had to be made. The other context here that's really important is that in the League Cup tournament, the only game that we lost all season, I think one of the only games we've lost in 2 years, was in penalty kicks. And they had gone so sideways. It was the first time that my team had faced that much pressure, and unfortunately, they completely folded under that pressure. It was a good experience for us though, because we were able to walk through the motions of what it feels like to have to step up in that situation. For League Cup, it was hard to get people to find the courage to take the penalty kicks. It was just a lot of drama that was really more rooted in fear. And I remember my pep talk after League Cup was telling them that you have to be more passionate about winning than you are afraid of losing. And that was the kind of conversation that we had had. And I think actually all of those experiences served us really well, because they showed up and showed out for these penalty kicks. And I was really proud of Laya, who was very confident and ready to take this first penalty kick, and she put it in the net very convincingly, and I think set a great tone. And we also had the goalie save all of her PKs. So we scored all but one. The goalie saved all of the kicks that were taken against her, and we were victorious. It was amazing. It was amazing not just because of how well the girls did, but it was really amazing to see how much they had grown since that League Cup penalty kick result to this State Cup penalty kick result. The girls were in great form for our final game on Sunday afternoon, and we had one of my favorite goals I think I've ever seen our team score. There was just such a beautiful series of passes and movement that resulted in a great finish on goal that was fantastic, and I was so proud of them. I think the only tiny bit of drama that we had in the afternoon had to do with the referee. And you know, I wish I could say that I wasn't one of those coaches, but I am one of those coaches who will get on the referee if they are not about what they need to be about. And it was hilarious because one of our players was tripped in a breakaway at the very beginning of the game, and it should have been a card. Honestly, it could have been even arguably a red card, because she was the last player to the goal and the defender missed the ball and she was tripped, and there was no card given at all. The referee said because, quote, it was too early in the game. Help me, Jesus. So, you know, I had to have some conversation with him about that.
Sir, please remember it on the other side. Please remember it on the other side.
But besides that, you know, it was a great game. It was a good result for the weekend, and it was exciting to know that we would be moving forward in this tournament. Thanks for watching.